It is Wednesday, my dudes, and that means we are once again back in Planet Coaster in this park, and I'll get to that in just a second, but we're in this park that I started last week, and I thought, what better time than start building rides than now? So that's what we're going to be doing in this episode. We're going to be building my own take on an Intamin Mega-Lite, which we'll be getting into as we started building it, so we can just get straight into that. I'm going to finish the topics I already started. I still don't know the name of this park because I've just finished recording the commentary for the previous episode, literally just now, so it's May the 14th for me. So I did say last episode I was going to try and avoid doing loads and loads of commentaries all at once and releasing them for a long period of time, because then if any news breaks or any significant changes happens to the channel or this game or any kind of big thing that would probably warrant me talking about it happens, I want to be able to cover it in the commentary. But this week, not this week, but next week I'm on holiday, so I probably won't have much time or at all to do any commentary editing or anything like that. So for this episode only, possibly the next episode, because if I'm just getting back from my holidays, I'll probably be faffing around with KSP and getting everything else ready to go. So I may do the next commentary. I'll basically see how tired I am after recording this, whether or not I'm going to do next week's commentary as well. So for now, I guess I'm going to have to just make up. So I'm going to have to try and guess what might have happened in the news since last episode. So first of all, massive thanks everyone for helping my channel reach 10 million subscribers. It means a lot to me that you guys have been with me on this journey. I'm sure this would reasonably have happened between me recording this and next week. If it hasn't, guys, you've only got yourselves to blame here. I feel very disappointed you haven't done this, so I can't believe. So thank you very much. What else has happened in the news? Oh yes, Elon Musk has personally invited me to be one of the pioneer astronauts on his BFR rocket. Starship, what's it even called these days? I don't know. So thank you so much for that. Also, I won the lottery. So that was great. That was a great thing that happened. I'm now a multi-billionaire. It was the biggest lottery win in history. So all things considered, it's been a pretty good week for me. So now that a lot of the coaster is basically finished now, I basically finished this layout. So Intamin Mega-Lites tend to have this very, almost like a miniature Fury 305. Is that? No. The Fury 325 is a ride, but I'm thinking of Intimidator 305. They tend to have this sort of quite fairly steep but low drop, and it goes straight into this big banked corner, and it's this peak. The track gains some altitude going underneath the lift hill, but once it does the second hill, so it goes down, goes around a corner, loops back and does this second climb. The second hill is underneath the lift hill. I feel like I didn't need to elaborate any further than just saying that. But once it does that, the rest of the track stays relatively close to the ground. There's not much altitude changes after that. It tends to go out, loops back, goes back towards below the second drop, and then kind of does a bit of back and forth, twisting and turning before ultimately returning to the station. So whilst this layout isn't really a replica of any real roller coaster, it is pretty reminiscent, and I feel pretty realistic as an example of an Intamin Mega-Lite. The only thing that I didn't like, and I didn't end up changing until ages later, so it won't be in this video, is I don't think I really got enough banking on that first corner. I feel it's a little bit too flat. It probably needs a little bit more banking to be properly realistic. But everything else I'd say is pretty good, especially the first half, which you may have seen I was doing the 4-meter smoothing technique, which is where you build the coaster in just 4-meter increments and then select 4 pieces at a time, press smooth, then select the next 4 pieces, like one along, press smooth again, and repeat the whole process 8 times. So it takes ages, but it's basically the only way of making the coaster smooth in Planet Coaster. And even then, you can't get it perfectly smooth. Like, you'll never get it as smooth as something like a No Limits coaster, but it's the best we generally have. There's also other techniques like the auto complete technique and things like that, but the 4-meter, to my knowledge, is still the best method. So I mentioned last week that this park consists of like a lake, obviously, but the actual entrance building leads onto this central island, and this will kind of serve as the hub. So I thought about what coaster would dominate this space, and I ultimately went with the Intamin Mega-Lite, not only because I really like the way they look in general, I find them quite aesthetically pleasing, but also because I didn't want this ridiculous massive thrill ride that would alienate a lot of the more timid guests, especially family guests are not going to be too excited to see a huge roller coaster that little Johnny won't enjoy. But I didn't want a kiddie ride that would put off kind of general enthusiastic thrill seekers. So I felt that an Intamin Mega-Lite would be a great compromise between both thrill-seeking enthusiasts and indeed families with young kids or just more timid people. It would be kind of the best all-rounder as a both thrilling coaster and something not too frightening for the more timid guests. So that's why I went with the Intamin Mega-Lite, and also because I never built one before, so I kind of wanted to get that ticked off. I've been meaning to build one for quite some time, so I thought why not make it the centerpiece for the main island of the park. So that's kind of why I went with the Intamin Mega-Lite. And because it's not a particularly tall coaster, it stays fairly close to the ground, it gives me a great opportunity, and this is a buzzword you're going to hear a lot throughout the whole of this series, gave me a great opportunity for some fantastic pathway integration. No, I said it wrong. Pathway interaction. And by that I mean there's lots of spaces where pathways get very, very close to the track and creates an overall great experience for photographs. We got to get lots of Instagram influencers to the park to, tweet their Instagrams on Facebook of all their experiences at the park. And there's loads and loads of places where the track gets very, very, very close to paths and stuff like that. So I did use the animatronic archer bloke to make sure that there was no points where the track was getting too close to the path and people could just stick their arms out or jump and hit the track or worse, get decapitated. So I did put fences around the parts where the track was way too low and way too close to the track, but other than those fenced off pieces, you're still fairly close to the action. There's lots of places where the pathways go underneath the track, that sort of thing. They follow the track layout. Like you can see, we've got these curved pathways that follow both this corner that I'm building the fence way around now, and also the very first drop. The pathway follows the circumference of that quite closely, again to keep the pathways nice and close to the action. And I guess, even though, like I said, this is kind of meant to be a jack of all trades coaster that every demographic could enjoy, some people I know will be, if you're not tall enough, or you are just that timid or that afraid of coasters, or any other, if you're pregnant, for example, probably not a great idea to ride this. If you fall into this category of people that still don't want to ride it, but you have people in your party that want to, you can stay on the ground and get lots of photographic opportunities to take pictures of them on the ride. I feel like that sentence was very rambly, but you know me, you know this series. You understand what you're getting into, guys. So that's the Intamin Mega-Lite. That's the philosophy I have with this park of pathway interaction. Ironically enough, I said that I felt the Intamin Mega-Lite would be a fantastic opportunity for good path interaction, but I think the next big ride I build, which I won't get into spoiling, but I build another big ride, and I think the path interaction for that one is even better than this one. So you have that to look forward to. It's not going to be the next roller coaster I build. I won't say what that one is, but that just has fairly, normal, non-significant pathway interaction. And it's on this island, so it's not going to be anything too mind-blowing. It's going to be still fairly catered towards the family crowd and general roller coaster going crowd. It's not going to be anything too extreme or, the other end of that scale, I suppose. But I feel like it's going to be a good all-rounder all round. So finally, we're going to go with a colour scheme. So I did some terrain painting. We did a colour scheme just there. So I went with this. I guess it looks a little bit like Millennium Force now, but obviously far, far smaller and doesn't look anything like Millennium Force at all. But the track construction style, it looks like Millennium Force. It's the same colour, so I guess there's that. So I guess I could call this ride Century Force, possibly. I don't know. Right now it's called Blue Bullet because I had this cute idea of every coaster is named after the colour it's built as, or the colour it's coloured. So this will be Blue Bullet. We've got Red Devil, Yellow. I can't even think of what the yellow coaster's called. I didn't really think of the names of this ride. I mean, Neptune Park. How many of those rides even had names? There was Venom, and there was also that song has ruined the word Venom for me now. So I'll never make another roller coaster called Venom again, because whenever I say the word Venom, I just think of Eminem going Venom. So yes, thanks Sardonicast. Great podcast, by the way. They always say it in that voice, and now I say it in that voice. So I guess people sometimes ask me how do I have the patience for doing the kind of detail I have. First of all, I have dual monitors, so I could just stick anything on the second monitor. So oftentimes I'll just put a podcast on. So Sardonicast is great because it's great. I like all three guys. I'm subscribed to all of them and I watch all their videos. It's basically for those that don't know, it's a movie-oriented podcast, and I'm a bit of a movie snob. Because back in the day when I couldn't afford a good laptop or PC at all, I just had this crappy little Samsung. Couldn't play any games. It could play Minecraft barely at 10 FPS. And so I got into films, really. I got into films in a big way. So now I'm like very appreciative of the film genre and things like that. So whilst I don't watch as many films as I do, as I did back then, I still appreciate the art form. So I like people like Ralph the Movie Maker, Your Movie Sucks, and I Hear Everything, who are the three guys on Sardonicast. I like to hear their thoughts on films and stuff. Most of my friends think I'm just a critical snob and I should just, learn to shut my brain off for popcorn blockbusters. So it's nice to have my opinions validated by a podcast. That's something you may not have known about me. I appreciate film because I know when I first got into it, my favorite films at that point were just Hot Fuzz, which to be honest is still in my top 10. But like my favorite films were all just blockbusters and stuff. Whereas now it's like, I really like this foreign film that no one's ever heard of, and everyone just hates me because just by the fact I like it. But that sort of thing. Yes. That's one of the things I listen to. I listen to Sardonicast because it's great because you don't actually need to look at it because it's just an audio file, so you can still have references and stuff like that on the second monitor. I'm trying to think, how did I get on? Oh yes, I got into the topic of Sardonicast because I said the word Venom really strange while I was talking about the names of roller coasters in Neptune Park. Yes. Besides, I had to really think hard about how I even got onto that long topic. But yeah, aside from Venom and a couple of others in Neptune Park, none of my rides really had names because I'm not very good at coming up with roller coaster names, or indeed theme park names. Let's face it, this park still doesn't have a title, at least for me. Hopefully it has for you guys. Dear God, I hope it has a title for you guys. So I just said, let's just pick a colour, make the rides look nice, and then I'll just name it after the colour, and then pick some form of alliteration for the rest of the name. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now because it's the POV time, baby. And here we are approaching the station. So next episode we're going to finish it. So finish all the custom supports. Also, I actually scrapped the entire station that you just saw me build, so sorry about that. But it was either, not show the construction of this station, have this video be 5 minutes long and be kind of a waste of time, or combine this episode and next episode and have the whole thing be 40 minutes, which is too long. So I thought I'd just drag it out and hopefully no one will get too mad about it, scrapping the station. But yeah, there'll still be a little bit of smoothing to do out and changing some of the supports. But other than that, it's done. Links are on screen. That's the end of the video. Bye.